2012 and they're lined along the floor, hoping he doesn't come to their door. They're crowded behind the teacher's desk and they're hoping this is just a test, but then bang, bang, and bodies are down. It's 2017 and they're no longer defined by the shooting until they look up at the news only to hear a booming. It's happened at yet another school, but our politicians are submitting to some sort of modern gag rule. America's students are dying and their parents are crying, but our teens are raising up and unifying, even though they find it terrifying. And all the while, our politicians are just sitting back and complying. It's 1995 and they've just arrived, a small suitcase by their side, taking it all in stride. Their wallets are empty, but they're hoping to make plenty. See, they came here for a reason. They had a goal they believed in, to take part in the dreaming that is the signature of America. Now it's 2018, they build a life for themselves, they're acquiring wealth. They have a wonderful son. Their lives have finally begun. But then one day, they turn on the TV and they hear President Trump say, "I will sign an executive order and kick them out of the border. See, you were born here, but you don't belong here. Go back to your country. You're making America look dumpy." It's 2014 and he's questioning it all. His body feels like cell walls. See, he's being told he's a girl, but doesn't want to give the skirt a twirl. "Mom, Dad," he says, there's something I have to tell you. I don't want this hairdo. I don't want this tutu. I know I have expectations to live up to, but this isn't who I am. Please start calling me Sam, because I am a man and I am trans. Now it's 2018, he's grown more comfortable in his shoes until he turns on the news. House Bill 2 passed in North Carolina, so just because he has a vagina, he has to go in the bathroom marked female, even though he identifies as a male. It's 2011 and the news is plastered with Kelly Thomas, and right then and there, he makes his brother promise. Always comply, because if you don't, you may die. Simply put your hands on the dash and avoid any and all backlash. It's 2014 and he just got approached by an officer. He exclaims, "I don't want no trouble, sir." But then next thing he knows, it's like the whole world just froze. He was put in a chokehold because that officer was uncontrolled. He took his last breath and dropped to his death. It's 2004, he just closed his car door. He drives down to the highway, dreaming of a shorter work day. But then he looks to his left and suddenly he is at rest. He wakes up to a blood test. See, his spine was compressed. Now he's paralyzed from the waist down, but he won't let this tear him down. It's 2008 and he's ready to vote, so he puts on his coat and heads to the door, where he finds himself in a position he's never been in before. Turns out the polls aren't accessible, and his anger was inexpressible. Just because he is disabled does not mean his vote should be fabled. He is still a citizen, and his rights should not be limited. Black or white, gay or straight, trans or cis, poor or rich, able-bodied or disabled, everyone deserves rights. Our differences are not parasites. They are what unites. Everyone deserves civil liberties. So let's start making some victories, because our politicians are failing us, and the policies they're enacting are a little bit sus. So get out to the polls and vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. The average life expectancy of a trans woman of color is 35, but she deserves to be alive. Almost 2/3 of polling places are inaccessible, and our anger is no longer suppressible. There were 340 mass shootings in 2018. Stop and ask yourself, what if that was your teen? Almost 290,000 immigrants were deported in the fiscal year, but I'll bet you didn't hear, because our news will always censor. See, our politicians have a bad temper. So get out to the polls and vote. And as Roald Dahl once said in a quote, "Somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world." Thank you.